So for this tutorial, we're going to go over how to set up the WP Security plugin. It's the most important at first, but before we can even put in any of this information and do that, we need to make sure that inside of our install plugins, if we have set up the Anticipate plugin, we need to turn it off, because if you have the Anticipate plugin running, it will not allow you to go to any specialized login page, which is something you've got to do during this WP Security. I do the WP Security first. Let's go to the dashboard and we can look through each thing and see how things are set up. The strength is very low because all we've done is basically installed it. We've not done anything that will really protect this system. So the first thing we need to do is go into settings. We're going to go one step at a time and take care of each thing. So inside of here you can see the security features. We need to go to user accounts, do backups and stuff in there. We can see the admin username doesn't need any action because it's not admin. It's very unique. That's something that we need to do. We can go on down. Second thing is user login. We want to lock up some stuff in here. So this is the second thing. Enable login lockdown feature. So we're going to lock this down. We're not going to allow unlock requests because the people that are using it are all local at this point. Now if this were something with membership, we would do that so they could request and we could email them back. I'm going to shut this down to less than what they've got here. They've got 3. Because hackers expect 3, I put it to 2 or 1. If you put it to just 1, then somebody has an automatic login will actually lock things down, and that's because we're going to put a CAPTCHA text on login. So 2 is probably best. Login read time period. This is good. Login lockout time. How many minutes do we want it to be? I'm going to do 600 minutes. So you can think about that. 60 minutes is an hour. I'm locking them up for 10 hours. Display generic error message. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let them know what's going on. Instantly lock out invalid usernames. Yes. And then let's notify ourselves by email anytime there's a lockout situation. So I'm going to save settings. That part's done. You can see failed login records right here. We're just going to keep going across and filling in all these details so you can see where people have failed. We can do a forced logout situation. We do want to enable a forced logout. I'm going to make sure it's like longer than this. I'm going to give people 420 minutes so that's not every hour they're logged out. I hate that. I want to be able to work longer. We're going to see, you can see who the logged in users are here, but we're just going to skip that. Let's go on down to user registration. We're going to lock this up so that folks can't just generally get in. And since this has been 420 minutes, you can see it's already worked. So this is something you need to note, is that it will log you out after that allotted time. And that's an important thing. We want it to log us out after that allotted time. We want to make sure that it doesn't just let us in there anytime. So I've got to go back in and I'm going to have to re-log in again to the actual WordPress account because it locked me out since this has been sitting open for more than 420 minutes. So I'm going to do that. OMF. There's my username, password. I'm going to log right back in. So that worked. Now we're going to user registration settings. I've got a saving system, so I'm saving that. User registration settings, manually approve new registrations. Yes, save settings. We don't want anybody to log in and set up a user ID if we haven't approved it. Registration CAPTCHA. I'm going to be putting this on here. Enable CAPTCHA. There you go. So that's going to be on there too. We want to have a registration CAPTCHA. We actually want CAPTCHA forms anywhere. CAPTCHA forms are the information that makes people do extra text that proves that they're not a robot. So we want to do those everywhere we go. So that's important. Database security, next big thing. So the basic current database table prefix is WP. We don't want that. So let's let the system generate a new one. We can make one, but let's let it generate it. I'm going to put change database prefix. This really locks the database up, and it makes sure that things are much safer. So it's going to start it, backup copy, options, database, been completed. So let's go back in here to database security, and let's see if it works. All right, close. And it worked because it says right here that we have a new table prefix. So that's important. That's done. You can do database backup, but this is a new install, so I'm not backing anything up before I run it. I can fix it easy enough. This is all of our basic file permissions, PHP file editing. I'm going to cut this off. No, actually, I don't want to disable that because we may do stuff later on. When everything's locked down and we're finished, we'll disable PHP editing from this. Okay, so it's going down to, we're going to skip down to firewall. Let's enable our firewall, then we'll go to brute force. I'm skipping some because it's just not that important. So basic firewall protection. I'm going to leave pingback going because we use pingback at this point. There are some things that, it can leave open-ended, so you could put that on if you wanted to. Here we go. There's additional firewall rules. You can disable index views. So we want to cut off any kind of directory and file listing. Trace and track. Proxy comment posting. Bad query strings. Boom. We can lock all that stuff down. Very good. So that's all locked down. Alright, we're going to clear through this. Let's go on down here. I'm going to go to brute force. This is the next thing that we want to deal with. We're going to do something that's very, very, very important. We're going to enable the login page feature, the rename login page feature. And we need to put something in here that's going to be harder for folks to find. So this is going to be login safe protect. So we need to remember what this is because this is where we're going to log in now. This is the real reason why you have to turn off the anticipate plugin. So this is our new login page, and so we need to make sure that we keep that. So I'm going to encourage you, save that over somewhere else and come back to it later. So let's save that somewhere else. And then we're going to need it later. So that's that. We're going to leave that login capture. Let's do this. Make sure to enable login captcha, custom login form, lost password page, save. All of these have captchas now. Those will create that text box that makes it too hard for them to hack. No more brute force. I'm going to do capture on comments, block spam bot comments, save. All of this is important. We want to get each one of these. Comment spam IP monitoring is where it keeps up with the IP addresses that are trying to find, whatever. So pretty cool. There's a scanner to check to see if there's anything bad in here. There's maintenance, there's malware scans. You can do all that from here, but all that's good. We're not going to worry about any of this at this point. And at this point, we're going to call this done. Let's go back to the dashboard for WP Security, and let's see what our strength meter says. Much stronger. There's a lot more stuff we can change. So out of 460 achievable points, we've got 270. Way in the green. I'm very happy with this to start with. We can work on adding more later. And that's it for this plugin. That's the WP Security plugin. Once that's done, we're going to move on to the social media with Jetpack. And then on after that, we'll work on SEO and Webmaster Tools with the Yoast plugins.